What damn Mula gang? The feds is back on it, ain't they?
FBI, open up!
I don't think the feds are gonna let Mr. Durkio Schmirkio go too easy. We gonna see what's going on. Shout out to Cuff Boys, man, for always giving us these updates on the Lil Durk trial, man. Let's get it. He just posted 2 hours ago, too. Let's get it.
Have responded in the Lil Durk murder for hire trial. All right, this trial is supposed to start this month. I'm finally not sick. I thought I was dying for the past like 6 days. It's been terrible. This is how many filings there has been over the past 5 days. A lot of it is sealed or useless, like not important stuff that we even need to read, but I'm gonna read the important stuff. Let's go, hit subscribe. All right, first thing, defendant Dirtbank's notice of joinder to defendant Wilson Lindsay's motions in limine. So just his lawyers letting him know that he is also joining his co-defendants' other motions that they filed. And here's what I mean by everything sealed. So order granting ex parte application for order sealing documents.
I don't know what
for
none of
good
this
cause
shit
shown
means
is
either.
hereby ordered that the following documents are under seal. Exhibits 1 through 3. Exhibit 4, government's omnibus opposition to defendant's motion in limine. So a lot of this stuff we can't even see because they're trying to protect witnesses or whatever. At least that's what they say. I mean, Durk did get caught with the Apple Watch. It's possible he can contact people in the outside world to hurt witnesses. Finally, a big one.
Right. When he got caught with that Apple Watch, that hurt him.
Government's opposition to defendant Banks' motion to exclude government's proposed gang expert. So let's see what the feds say here. Defendant Banks' motion to exclude the government's gang expert makes clear there's a material disagreement between the parties as to the origin and nature of the co-conspirators' relationship and motives. On one hand, the government will argue that the conduct and motivations of the OTF-related co-conspirators must be explained through their Chicago gang-related connections. On the other, defendant Banks has asserted that there is no logical nexus between the facts in this case and the Chicago-based gangs, their evolution, and the rivalry among them, and that defendant Banks' connection with his fellow members of OTF is solely musical.
What?
Stupid.
How is your connection solely musical if you was involved with these people before you were making music? What always amazes me about watching these videos is like, okay, Lil Durk, it's 2026. Lil Durk has been out. I can remember when L's Anthem came out, being from Chicago and thinking Lil Durk was the coolest nigga since sliced bread. When L's Anthem came out, that was like 2011. So let's say 15 years. For 15 years, you've been saying you gang this, gang that, OTF, O Block, Lamron, 300. You've been saying all that for 15 years. And then you finally get caught for a murder for hire case. And now you say all the connections with the members is solely musical. Now you ain't a gangbanger. You've been saying you a gangbanger for 15 years and interviews and songs and all that. But now it's just music.
But while the murder of SR has been referred to as the LA murder, it is in reality a Chicago gang-style murder that was brought to the streets of Beverly Hills. The government must be able to provide expert testimony that explains the tradecraft and slang of the Chicago gang members and affiliates who conspired to commit the murder. This testimony will help the jury understand why the co-conspirators' first reaction after Bennett's death was not to seek law enforcement assistance. It was to immediately start planning revenge and get back, consistent with the gang code the co-conspirators live by. So this happened in the YSL trial. They brought a gang expert in to explain like gang terminology and slang. I just hate these fucking like RICO trials and shit. It's all up for interpretation. The YSL trial put a bad taste in my mouth because it was such a shit show. It was like 11 months of a complete clown show.
That was a shit show.
This is the Fed, so it's different.
It's the Fed. They ain't playing.
The government expert will help provide critical testimony about Chicago gang structure to help the jury understand why the co-conspirators flew from Chicago with just shirts on their backs to commit the murder.
Damn, that's all they
direction.
Damn.
Wait, hold on.
They ain't packed no suitcase?
Luggage? Is that what they're trying to say? Just the clothes they were wearing? The expert will help the jury understand why a famous rapper would use his resources and power to seek revenge for a friend. Relationships between Durk, King Von, PW1, PW2, and co-conspirators 3, 4, and 5 is material to proving who ordered the murder, who committed the charged conduct, and crucially why. So PWs are obviously snitches
Witnesses
that are going to testify at trial. At trial, the government will
I don't know why people trying to skate over that in the Lil Durk case. It's been snitches in this case, known snitches for a while. Somebody snitching and somebody telling something, gang. Have you ever needed your paycheck to just come a little early? Like, yeah, you get paid on Friday, but it's Tuesday and you need the money now. There's a banking app called Current, and they got a whole bunch of super useful features on this app. And one of the best features is it lets you access up to $750 of your paycheck early if you qualify. With Current, you get a full list of features like paycheck advance, fee-free overdraft, the build card, and more. Now, Paycheck Advance is my favorite, but if you focused on building credit or if you just want a smoother way to manage your money, it handles everything in one app. And I know how I feel for your paycheck to be coming Friday, but you need your money Monday and it's an emergency and you need that money now and you can't get that money now because you gotta wait, but you can't wait. And that's why I partner with them. And right now they're giving $75 to anybody who signs up for the current app using the link that's in my description or scanning the QR code that's on the screen. If you scan the QR code, it'll take you straight to the sign up page where you can create your account. Just go through the normal sign up steps, enter your information, and order your current card. After you complete those steps, you'll see the option that pops up to enter my promo code. And that promo code is going to access your $75 when you switch your direct deposit. Make sure you go through the full sign up process so you do not miss out on the $75. If you ever feel like managing money is stressful or even just tight sometimes, it's definitely worth just checking out because that's literally what it's designed for. Helping people just like you stay more on top of your finances. I don't know what chances y'all think he got, but I don't think it's very many.
Proved that the OTF-related co-conspirator's primary motivation for committing this murder was to get back or seek revenge. Responsible for King Von's death at the direction of Durk, the government must be able to establish the gang-related origin, development, and tradecraft of the conspiracy, blah, blah, blah. Durk was a self-admitted Black Disciples gang member.
Exactly.
From Lamram's set of the gang. Like defendant Banks, the OTF members who participated in the murder were Chicago gang members or affiliates, primarily Black Disciples, including PW1 and defendant Wilson. Testimony from cooperating witness will establish that the co-conspirators formed their relationship of trust from a young age and through their gang association, including living by their gang code. CPD Detective Kilroy will provide testimony about 1. The meaning of relevant terms and expressions used in text communications, admitted at trial, explain the rules and code applicable to Chicago gang members, Chicago gang structure and tradecraft, including gang members' use of social media and rap lyrics. Defendant's contention that there is no logical nexus between Kilroy's proposed gang expertise and the alleged facts in this case only highlights the materiality of the expert testimony. Oh, Jesus, look at this. For example, Kilroy will testify that the Chicago gang members must achieve get back by avenging acts of violence against other members or associates of their gang, or they will lose respect and their reputation in the gang community. These Chicago gang members obtain notoriety, money, and fame as rap artists and elevate to leadership roles within their respective gang, using social media and music to taunt, disrespect, and assert their dominance over rivals, especially by disrespecting murdered members of rival gangs. Advertise their membership verbally, musically, and through gang signs and symbols, using stolen vehicles to commit violent acts, multiple vehicles to ambush gang rival targets, using modified machine guns or switches. Banks also makes much of the location of the murder. LA. What does that mean? Also makes much of the location of the murder.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Is my sick brain not comprehending what that means?
I don't know what that
Kilroy's expertise relates to Chicago street gang. Banks and almost all of his co-conspirators and criminal associates in this case have ties to Chicago street gangs. Kilroy has investigated Durk in the past, apparently, and other OTF affiliates. That expertise will help the jury understand the gang-related methods. Absent Detective Kilroy's testimony, the jury will understandably question...
I think it's a thing called... There's a thing called guilty by association, right? And that just is what it is, bro. When you surround yourself around... Even if you could be the most perfectest... that's not even a word, but... I said perfectest. You could be the most perfect law-abiding citizen in the world. If you hang around nothing but killers, gangbangers, robbers, drug dealers, shooters, and they lock them all up, they gonna lock you up too, bro. See, the thing with court is nobody is God. We don't really know what happened. All we can do is look at the facts and make a guesstimate about what happened. The problem is, though, when you rap about gangsters, you rap about shooters, you rap about murders, you diss people, dead homies, you throw up gang signs, it's a bunch of homies. It's the image that goes into it, gang. You could be innocent as hell, but if you got an image of a gangster, it's going to be believable to that jury that you did whatever they saying you did, and you're going to get locked up for it, bro. Even if you didn't do it. You see what I'm saying? A lot of these niggas be locking themselves up for real, even if before they commit a crime. Because it's jury, bro. Again, we don't really know what happened. Nobody was there. Only people that know what happened is the motherfuckers who did it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but what is the prosecutor going to... But the prosecutor's going to look at this and be like, this is a very believable story for us based off the facts, the evidence we got, the witnesses, the snitches, this, that, the third. There's a very believable story that we can present to a judge and a jury to make it extremely believable. to the point where they won't, even if they think, no, I really, deep down inside, I don't think Durk did it, but it looked bad. 20 years. So it's just, you got to look at stuff like this. Don't just look at it. I know a lot of y'all be entertained. Y'all want to know, it's Lil Durk, it's a story. I get it. But just try to learn from the shit as much as you can, bro. And understand this is a way that you don't move. There is a life where you can make music, you can do a lot of stuff and have no involvement in the streets. It's a life where you could do that. It's possible. Rich people ain't gangbanging. Rich people, billionaires ain't on the block. You know what I'm saying? Billionaires are not, and even if they are doing something illegal, like billionaires do I put it past a billionaire to get somebody killed for whatever reason, business wise? No, I don't. But I know his image is gonna save him. The fact that he wears suits, the fact that he don't associate himself with killers and robbers and, you know what I'm saying, drug dealers, that's gonna help his case. It's gonna make it less believable that he would do something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Why a successful musician would seek revenge through murder. The following answer is simple. Despite being a successful musician, Defendant Banks was and is a black disciple who assembled a gang of gangs, which he financially supported and eventually deployed to avenge a fallen gang member's death. Banks' association with other defendants and co-conspirators and cooperating witnesses was born out of a criminal street gang relationship, as was his response to King Von's death. Banks cannot at once argue that OTF was a legitimate music collective and seek to exclude relevant evidence from the jury that undermines his claim. Such a ruling would not only unfairly prejudice the government, but would also undermine the core truth-finding function of a criminal jury trial. Obviously, the government's fighting for an expert witness to come and explain to the jury gang shit. The defense is going to be like, fuck no, we don't want you to explain gang terms to our jury. It's up to the judge if they're going to let it in or not. All right, so thank God Durk All Day had this file on Twitter. So shout out Durk All Day on Twitter.
All right, fellas, let's be honest. Buying...
They don't have this on the Pacer website anymore.
Time. Appreciate you, boys. Back to the video.
They don't have this on the Pacer website anymore for me to see. So something must be in this file we're not supposed to see. Government's opposition to Defendant Banks. Oh, I can't highlight anything in this. Defendant Banks' motion to suppress fruits of unlawfully seized and searched telephones. So this is a big one. Remember? Pretty much, in my opinion, illegally searched Durk's phone from that home invasion he was a victim of. The Atlanta police took Durk's phone during a home invasion that he was a victim of at his own house. Durk's lawyers said they were supposed to give it back and not go through it at all because he's a victim. They have no reason to look through his phone. They looked through it. They got a search warrant and they handed it over to the FBI at some point too. I think
they do have a reason because he wasn't supposed to have a gun. The same way All-Star JR, they had a reason to if they want to look through his phone, they can look through his phone because you wasn't supposed to have a gun. So if they want to find out where you got this gun from, how did you obtain this gun? Because they searched his house and they found guns and ammunition. This is what happens when you put yourself in a box of a felon, bro. This is what happens when you live in the streets your whole life. You can't live in your streets the whole life, get locked up, go to prison, do this, do that, get found guilty for felonies. The law says that felons cannot possess firearms at all. It ain't supposed to be in your hand. It ain't supposed to be in your house. It ain't supposed to be in your car. It ain't supposed to be on your waist. It ain't supposed to be nowhere around you, bro. So the fact that, yeah, he was a victim for sure. And he did what he had to do. But now you got to face the consequences, the legal consequences of the fact that you wasn't even supposed to have this gun in the first place. You, as rich as you is, knowing that you a felon, knowing that you don't have guns at your house, you were supposed to have 24 hours, 24/7 security outside your house. And they were supposed to do the shooting if somebody came to try to break in. You feel me? Which they probably wouldn't have tried to break in if they see an armed security guard standing outside your house with a bulletproof truck and an assault rifle. So that's why they can use whatever they want to do, bro. Just like if they pull you over and they smell weed, they can search your whole car. If you got a damn bazooka or a bomb in your car, they can lock you up for it. You can't turn around and say, well, it's okay for me to smoke weed and just y'all ain't supposed to search my car. You can't do that, bro. That's not what the law say. So it wasn't unlawful search. He broke a law. So that gives them probable cause to search his phone, search his house, search whatever they want to search, bro.
It's all illegal in my opinion, but this is the government's response to that. Following a shootout at Defendant Banks' home, July 2021, where law enforcement seized multiple guns and 11 cartridge casings, 6 of which were found near a balcony where defendant admitted to firing his gun into the air. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation, GBI, searched defendant's residence pursuant to a search warrant. During the search, investigators seized multiple guns and boxes of ammunition, spent shell casings, and defendant's cell phone to aid their investigation into the gunfight, among other items. While defendant's phone was seized pursuant to the initial warrant, GBI did not search the phone until it obtained a subsequent warrant that authorized the seizure of data related to the
how is it illegal? How is it an opinion that it's illegal to you if they got a warrant to search his? That means a judge signed off on a warrant to search his phone. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's illegal. When you on probation, they can pull you over and search your car. They don't need any probable cause. You don't have to like it, but that doesn't mean that their search is illegal, bro.
Including felon in possession of firearms.
Exactly.
The Georgia phone warrant, quote unquote. Based on the search warrant, the GBI created the forensic extraction of the device, which they maintained in their possession pursuant to the express terms of the Georgia phone warrant. After grand jury returned the additional charges against defendant in this case, including violent crimes that aid or racketeering murder, the government obtained a copy of the forensic extraction from the GBI on July 6, 2026.
Damn.
So this home invasion occurred approximately 2 months after co-conspirators first attempted to ambush and kill Quando Rondo and Blackshear. Okay, so what they're hinting at there is that this happened to Durk at his house because 2 months before, Durk and them tried to kill Quando Rondo in Blackshear, Georgia.
That could be the reason.
Or near the show at a gas station. It got shot up. I don't remember. Within days, a federal judge in LA authorized a warrant to search the forensic extraction for the evidence related to this case. Material evidence was found on the device, including texts about locating Quando Rondo and Quando Rondo's associates, Lil Tim. TL is Lil Tim. Lil Tim is who killed King Von in Atlanta. I'm sure a lot of you know this, but I'm just clarifying for people that don't. I think this is one of the first mentions of Lil Tim, to be honest. The individual who shot King Von on November 6, 2020. He's free, by the way. He's not. The charges against him got dropped, or I don't even know if he ever got charged with murder. I think he got charged because King Von was punching people, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember what happened, dude.
I think he got charged, but I don't think it went to like trial or nothing like that. I think he got charged initially, and then they do like the arraignment and all that shit, and then they dropped him.
Durk moves to suppress the evidence, raising numerous legal issues in an attempt to justify suppressing the incriminating evidence found in the device. However, the motion boils down to 3 narrow issues: whether the state investigators lawfully seized the defense phone pursuant to the Georgia house warrant on July 11th, whether the temporary detention of the defense phone from July 11th until state investigators obtained a warrant to search the phone was independently permissible under the Fourth Amendment, whether on these facts Georgia investigators' good faith conduct seizing the phone while investigating a shootout and then obtaining a search warrant to search the phone, coupled with the attenuation between a wholly separate federal investigation years later, the drastic remedy of an exclusion of the highly relevant evidence is warranted. While all 3 issues should be resolved in the government's favor, the court can deny the motion based on any of the below. First, the Georgia home warrant authorized the seizure of defendant bank's phone.
Exactly.
I can't highlight anything. I keep forgetting. All parties agree that the Georgia house warrant authorized state law enforcement to lawfully enter and search the bank's residence. Based on the plain language of the warrant, it authorized the seizure of defendant's bank's phone because the affidavit established a probable cause that defendant banks, who claimed he fired a gun multiple times into the air, and a resident.
So you basically snitched on yourself. You said you shot your gun in the air. That was a snitch on yourself, bro. You told on yourself in that moment. So now, if somebody pulls you over and you say, "Yeah, I got drugs in the trunk," okay, get out the car and we're going to search your car now. And if we find something, we're going to seize it. If we want to seize your phone to figure out where you got these drugs from, they can do that, bro. So it's not really. I get some of y'all be Durk fans, and I'm a Durk fan. I love his music, but we got to be realistic here, bro. We don't, just because you don't like the law or just because you ignorant of the law doesn't mean it's an excuse. And doesn't mean that it can be in your opinion that it was unlawfully searched. Your opinion don't really matter, bro. In black and white, this is what the law says. I wish it was legal for you to walk down the street and smoke weed. But it's not. It's not, bro. It's not even legal. Trespassing, jaywalking, all these things are written in black and white. The people who are prosecuting Lil Durk are the same people who made the damn law. So you just gotta respect the law and abide by it, or this was gonna happen, bro. I didn't make the rules, but damn, y'all, what the fuck?
Neighborhood was suspected perpetrator of at least reckless conduct in violation of Georgia code, blah, blah, blah. Wait, so just because he fired it in the air, they were trying to charge him with that? He probably would have been better off saying he shot at them. Because in Georgia, if someone breaks in your house, you can fucking blow them to smithereens, right?
Not if you're not supposed to have a gun, bro. You can do that if you are not a felon. If you have a legal firearm in your home. If you fucking, you know what I'm saying? Then yeah, you can do that. Absolutely. Soulja Boy got off with the, I don't know if Soulja Boy caught a body. I know he shot somebody or something like that, but he was involved. Soldier Boy, it's a famous story. Somebody breaking in Soldier Boy house and they end up getting shot. Somebody end up dying and nothing happened to Soldier Boy. The same thing with the baby. Somebody broke into baby house or they was on his estate, on his property, and he shot the shit out of him and called the police, said, come get him. He didn't go to jail for it. The baby killed somebody in Walmart. He didn't go to jail for that. Why? Because he wasn't a felon. The gun on him was legal. It was okay for him to have it, bro. So, yeah, you could do that. It's a perfect example. All-Star JR again. If All-Star JR wasn't a felon and he had a gun on him that was legal gun and he shot him, he wouldn't be in jail right now. It sucks. I don't think it's fair, but that's the law.
Am I wrong here? I'm pretty sure Georgia does not have duty to retreat, right? All right,
No,
second, Georgia investigators learned additional information before the seizure defense phone.
Really, no state in the South really does.
Temporary detention of the phone to preserve evidence while investigators sought and obtained a warrant to search the phone. So they didn't accidentally take this phone, bro. They took that shit on purpose. They got info before that they were like, yo, there's something on his phone we need to see. So we're taking it. His lawyers made it sound like they took the phone on accident and realized after, no, they did that shit on purpose. In my opinion, that's what it seems like. Indeed, before investigators seized the phone on July 11, 2021, they learned that defendant was a twice convicted felon when he possessed and fired his weapon, and that the defendant was a suspected member of Black Disciples gang. Given those facts and defense conduct set forth in the affidavit, investigators had a good faith basis to seize the phone to investigate the gunfight, including determining the identity of the shooters and the motive. Investigators subsequently obtained a warrant to search the phone, which is based on ample probable cause. Okay.
Right.
Finally, the facts before the court simply do not warrant the drastic and extreme remedy of suppression. Georgia investigators acted in good faith, obtaining multiple warrants to seize and search defendant's phone to investigate a shootout that occurred in a residential neighborhood. Likewise, the federal prosecution team diligently obtained a federal search warrant days after receiving the digital extracted defense phone from the GBI. Because the FBI was not involved in the seizure of the phone from the defendant bank's residence, nor did it possess the extraction or the physical phone at any point prior to July 2026, suppression exclusion is not justified here. The court should deny the motion in full. So the shootout that happened July 11th, when officers arrived, defendant was not at the residence. Officers conducted a protective sweep where they found evidence that multiple firearms had been used and they amounted to a shootout at the home. Officers found spent shell casings in and around the house and suspected narcotics near a large bag of money on the bed. As set forth below, law enforcement did not believe the defendant was being forthcoming during the investigation, including the defense claim that he merely shot his firearm in the air. As a home invasion, suspects fled. Oh, as they ran away. So look, that changes things. You can't shoot at someone fleeing. That's how you get your ass charged with murder or something. If you shoot and kill someone that's fleeing from your house, I'm pretty sure you can't do that. I don't remember what case it was, but a few years ago I saw like some old dude like chase down a pregnant girl who was robbing his house with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend dipped on her. Old dude chased down pregnant girl and killed her as she was trying to flee, begging for her life.
And they downed me. They jumped on me in the hallway. The lady didn't run fast as a man, so I shot her in the back twice. She's dead, and they told her off, but he got away. She says, don't shoot me, I'm pregnant, I have a baby. And I shot her anyway. She was dead. Well, yeah, I shot her twice. She best be dead. I shot her, so that's going to leave a message on his mind. When the time comes to defend yourself, you best do something.
Okay, so apparently that old dude was not charged with murder in LA, and she was not actually pregnant. Sorry, I got sidetracked. All right, let's go back. The warrant authorized the seizure of electronic devices and any other.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it works, though. If somebody breaks in your house, I think that's stupid. If I know some states that's how it works, but I think that's stupid. If somebody breaking your house, if they running away, how do I know they not running away to go get another gun? How do I know they not running away and they gonna shoot like this while they running? It's possible. I'm not taking no chances. Somebody breaking your crib, bro, blow they ass back, nigga, until you run out of bullets and then reload. Like, dead serious. Y'all tripping.
Things the perpetrators may have left behind that would aid in the identification of the perpetrators. So Durk's lawyers pointed that out in their motion too, saying it said only of the perpetrators, not of Durk's phone. So you should not have took Durk's phone, pretty much. So they left the scene after the shooting. Durk did.
What did he say? Relevant here, the warrant authorized the seizure of electronic devices and any other personal belongings the perpetrators may have left behind that would aid in the identification of the perpetrators for the following subject offense. Yeah, but he broke the law, bro. That's what y'all not understanding. So if the police want to take his phone after he broke the law, that's probable cause, bro. I'm sorry that that's the case, but that's what it is.
And they didn't even call 911 either. Durk admitted, blah, blah. Defendant makes family member reluctant to allow investigators to search the home and their car for evidence. The following facts that clearly establish probable cause to search his phone. Here we go. Defendant Banks and family member 1 told investigators they both fired their weapons. Defendant Banks have previously convicted of at least 2 felonies. They obtained information that he was a member of the Lamron said Black Disciples gang in Chicago. Defendant Banks had a monetary bounty to reward the killers of his brother. S.A. Bynum concluded that based on Defendant Banks' gang membership and associated with the factions of Black Disciples, it is feasible that there are a lot of subjects that may want to harm him or steal from him. He determined that evidence on that seized device could assist with identifying the outstanding suspects of the gunfight, including text messages, photographs, and social media messages. This feels just so shady. Like, he's the victim of a home invasion, and his phone gets taken and used against him in a federal case 5 years later. Like, it just feels so shady. And the FBI gets all this.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just tripping. It don't feel shady to me. He's a known gangbanger who's a known felon who admitted to having a gun that he's not supposed to have. He admitted to shooting a gun that he ain't supposed to have. So he took his phone. We extracted it. And I think they gave it back. I mean, that's not shady for real. I mean, that's just the police doing their job, bro. Like, you can't be mad at the police for doing their job. Even if you in the streets, your job is to not get caught. Their job is to get as much information as possible so that they can catch your ass no matter what. So
a month before trial, I don't know why wants to use it.
What y'all expect to happen, bro?
GBI shipped via mail a hard drive containing 2 extractions, which the FBI received on July 6. The FBI obtained a federal search warrant to seize evidence from the digital extractions related to the August 19, 2022 murder and suspected racketeering activities of Defendant Banks and his alleged enterprise confederates. Law enforcement identified and seized multiple images related to the seeking revenge against TB, Quando, and Lil Tim. Those images include screenshots of messages including Lil Tim's release from state custody on bond and getting the address where he will be on house arrest, with metadata showing the screenshot was taken around the time of Lil Tim's release from state custody.
Yeah.
Why did Durk have that screenshot on his phone? The government is saying here that Durk was looking to get revenge on Lil Tim and had screenshots of his phone trying to find his house where he's living.
I really don't know how y'all think he's gonna like. I remember when somebody posted some shit like on one of the blog pages or something. A lot of niggas was tagging me like, you such a hater. You was wrong. He gonna get free. I really don't know what y'all think is happening right now. Or like, I don't know what y'all looking at, bro. I think he's cooked.
That's a terrible look. Who knows if it was Durk messaging people or not, but their screenshots were on his phone. Screenshots of a poster advertising Quando's concert, the concert after which multiple co-conspirators are alleged to have ambushed Quando.
Yeah, it's getting worse, ain't it?
That's not good either, boys. No wonder the government wants this in there. Screenshot of a social media post from May 3rd, 2023, documenting that Quando was shot at in Blackshear, Georgia. Defense motion misleading states that the government believes it produced a forensic extraction of the phone on July 15th. What defense motion omits are the communications in which the government identified for defense counsel the path to download and view the data, and the government's invitation to assist counsel via video conference and viewing the data and in-person inspection whenever it was convenient for the defense counsel. Defense counsel, however, did not respond to the government's message. For transparency, the government has attached those communications exhibit under seal. So they're saying the defense lawyers are idiots and they don't know how to look at the data, apparently. Investigators determined that the phone was in before first unlock state at the time it was extracted, which may result in extraction that contains limited data for review, including partial multimedia and system metadata. Indeed, the extraction for the cell phone did not appear to contain text messages between the user of the phone and others, but did contain numerous images. Okay, so they only had screenshots. They didn't have actual text message data from his phone, is what it sounds like. But it's still a bad look that he had screenshots of people trying to find Lil Tim's address and the concert that ends up getting shot up, Quando Rondo's concert. Given the affidavit's demonstration that defendant Banks was hesitant and less than forthcoming regarding the shootout, the warrant authorized the seizure of the cell phone to search for the evidence that could identify the shooters and their motive with whom the defendant Banks engaged in a gunfight. I don't understand that. Why would there be evidence on his phone about who the shooters are in the home invasion? Like, what? How would Durk know who the people are that came in his house unless they didn't have masks on or some shit? Under the plain view doctrine, a search warrant is not required for a seizure if 3 requirements are met. The officer must be lawfully in the place where the seized item was in plain view, the item's incriminating nature was immediately apparent, and the officer had a lawful right of access to the object itself.
Yes, the only three things that gotta have, bro.
Lawfully presence on the home. Investigators believe seizure of the phone was necessary to preserve relevant evidence. All right, this video is probably already too long. Obviously, if the judge rules on this, I'll make a video on it. Jury selection for this trial starts in like a week, I think, or something.
Oh, for real?
It's happening very soon. I would imagine all of September is going to be this trial. It's probably going to be a few weeks long. I don't know. It might even be like 8 weeks. Like, who knows? Hit subscribe. Love you guys. Peace out.
When is the trial supposed to start? Let me see. August 20th. Oh, okay. So in a week, it's supposed to start. So how is jury selection on in a week if they say it's supposed to start already? We're going to see, though.